So I was supposed to eat those bananas for the intro, but look at them, they're green, they're not ready yet. So whatever, DK Bonanza 30 fun facts, here we go! Donkey Kong Bonanza was first introduced during the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct and was the last game shown before ending the presentation. Everybody was expecting a Mario game, but then, all of a sudden, boom! It's Donkey Kong! The last 3D Donkey Kong game before Bonanza was Donkey Kong 64, released back in 1999, so it has been over 25 years since we got a proper 3D adventure featuring the big monkey. This is completely bananas. During that trailer and in the Treehouse Live presentations that followed, Donkey Kong was shown to have a new partner during his quest. This partner is this weird rock named Odd Rock. And well, it's odd indeed. It's kinda weird that they chose a rock to be DK's partner, but hey, whatever, this will do. The thing is, the website for Nintendo of Korea actually featured a different banner on their promotional website. And well, instead of Odd Rock being on Donkey's shoulder, it's a little girl. She kinda looks a lot like a teen version of Pauline. That's weird. This banner was up for a few hours before being changed back to the real one featuring Odd Rock. Did they leak something they were not supposed to? Well, cat's out of the bag, because at the very beginning of the Donkey Kong Bonanza Nintendo Direct that aired on June 18, Odd Rock was revealed to be Pauline! Yup, it was her all along. Why the need to hide this detail from us in the first reveal trailer? I don't know, but hey, now we know that my girl Pauline is in the game, and she looks pretty cool! After watching all of the gameplay from the Treehouse livestream and the Donkey Kong Direct, I couldn't help but notice it has a lot of similarities with Super Mario Odyssey. The whole vibe feels the same, and this made me wonder, who actually is developing DK Bonanza? Well, guess what? It was confirmed that this game is being made by the team who worked on Super Mario Odyssey! This is some great news! But it also makes me wonder, what about the next 3D Mario game? Who's making that one then? In order to create this destructible world, the team had to work with Voxel Destruction. What is a voxel? Well, to keep it simple, it's kind of a 3D pixel. Pixels are 2D shapes, and when combined together, they create images. If you take this idea and bring it to the 3D world, you get voxels. Voxel Destruction was used a little bit in Super Mario Odyssey, for example, to create the snow physics you see right now, and also to break the cheese blocks in the Luncheon Kingdom. The team really wanted to push this Voxel Destruction technology further, and they ran a couple experiments to see the kind of games they could get if the whole world was destructible. One of those demos they created features a Goomba with 2 floating hands, punching, grabbing, and throwing rocks all over the place. It looks so goofy! I mean, of all the characters they could pick, they really chose the one that doesn't have hands? I love it! According to Kenta Motokura, the producer for Donkey Kong Bonanza, the game was originally planned to be released on the original Nintendo Switch. As time went by, the opportunity to develop the game on new hardware came by, and the team decided to go for it. As Donkey Kong Bonanza is all about destructible environments, the new improved power of the Switch 2 was well suited for the game. The team was also pretty hyped about the new features of the Nintendo Switch 2, like the mouse controls, which they decided to use for the 2 players co-op mode. This mouse mode was also the reason why the team decided to create the DK Artist sub-minigame. If you decide to get the brand new DK and Pauline amiibo figurine and scan it, you will unlock a very cool outfit for Pauline, the Diva Dress. Where have I seen this one before? Well, obviously, in Super Mario Odyssey, duh! It's Pauline's classic dress, come on! If you're wondering what the physical version of Donkey Kong Bonanza looks like, well, there it is! The cover, the cartridge, and also the inside of the cover. It's looking cool, eh? So you know that level that involves us racing against Diddy and Dixie Kong while riding Rambi the Rhino? It's pretty fun, right? Well, while we're racing, if we look at the banners on the left and on the right, we can read Diddy and Dixie. Okay, sure, there's nothing special here, but we can also read Double Trouble, which is actually a reference to the SNES game Donkey Kong Country 3 Dixie Kong's Double Trouble. Huh, that's kinda cool. Speaking of, there's a secret level located on the hilltop layer called Nostalgia Country. And well, visiting it will lead you to a level that's really reminiscent of the first stage in Donkey Kong Country. Even the music playing is a remix of the classic theme from that game. This is insanely cool! Even better, if you use a rock and do a chunk jump at the beginning, you'll climb up to DKs Cabin. Yup, just like in the classic DK Country games. It features the good old tire you can bounce on, and it also features a few more references to other DK games. There's a Rambi plushie and a poster of DK, Diddy, Dixie, and Cranky Kong. Neat! As I was using the Zebra Bonanza forum to run all over the place, I couldn't help but hear a familiar sound. I mean, take a listen for yourself. Where did I hear this sound effect? Wait a minute, I remember! It's the same sound that plays in Super Mario Odyssey when we traverse electric lines! Oh wow, okay, that's kinda cool! Donkey Kong Bonanza features a co-op 2-player mode with one player controlling DK and the other one controlling Pauline. Basically, Pauline will use mouse controls to unleash vocal blasts at the terrain and enemies. It's kinda cool and all, but you know what's even cooler? The fact that you can actually play this mode using Game Share with a Switch 1 owner. That's right, this exclusive Nintendo Switch 2 game right here can be played on a Nintendo Switch 1 in co-op. That's nuts! I love this Game Share support! The bonus levels in this game are all actually pretty cool and different from one another, but one of my favorites is definitely this one here. It's a reference to the Bramble Scramble level from Donkey Kong Country 2, with all of the vines and you going from barrels to barrels. Even the music that plays during that bonus stage pays homage to that classic level. Ah, Sticker Brush Symphony, you never get old. And you know what? Here's more nostalgia for you. There's a bonus level that's taking place on the classic red girders from the DK arcade era. You'll be climbing on them while avoiding rolling barrels. Even the name of the bananas are references to that era. Jumping like Jumpman. Yup, that's a reference to this guy here. Climbing to a high score. Just like every arcade game back then, they had this high score meter. This is pretty neat. Every time you get a new Bonanza transformation, Pauline will have to sing and perform a song in order to unlock that new skill set. But have you noticed that every time she sings, she does this little weird move here with her feet? It's a dance move she also does in Super Mario Odyssey, but in reality, this is just a reference to her animation from the classic Donkey Kong arcade game. It looked goofy back then and still looks goofy today. But you know what? I kinda like it. There's a bunch of fossils hidden all over the levels in Donkey Kong Bonanza. And well, at first, they're standard fossils of fishes and animals, but eventually you'll collect fossils of familiar characters and animals from the DK series. I mean, look, it's the pig from DKC Returns and Tropical Cheese. And here's one of On Guard, the swordfish from the Donkey Kong Country series, and that's one of Winky the Frog from DKC1. And these guys are the banana birds from Donkey Kong Country 3. I only named a few because there are way more references to find in this fossil list. If you decide to scan the Pauline amiibo from the start menu, you will make some gold appear, but this gold will be in the shape of the letters K, O, N, and G from the Donkey Kong Country series. In these games, you have to collect these letters in every single level. In Bonanza, well, you get to smash them for some free gold. There are tons of hidden maps in this game, and collecting them will reveal the location of a fossil, which is cool in itself. But here's the thing, if you grab one of these maps and you just stop to look at it using the photo mode, you'll notice that the drawing on it is actually showing the map from Donkey Kong Country 3. Look, there's Funky's boat rental right there. We can also see the volcano over here. And all of the water and land is right where it's supposed to be. What a cool detail! So you know how you're smashing everything in this game? Well, did you know that the game actually keeps track of how many meters cubed you have smashed each material on each layer? Yup, it does. That's actually quite a lot of information, isn't it? Smashing 100,000 meters cubed of one material on one layer will give you some gold that you can use for many things throughout your adventure. Basically, the game rewards you for exploring every nook and cranny. I love it! The racing layer where you race against Diddy and Dixie is full of those Rami Rumble signs all over the place. Well, guess what? Rami Rumble is also the name of a level in Donkey Kong Country 2. It's actually a level featuring Rami in which you get chased by a giant zinger bee, so you have to move fast. Speaking of, when you talk to Dixie, she actually references the events of Donkey Kong Country 2. She tells Pauline about that one time Diddy and her had to rescue DK. That means that the Donkey Kong Country series is canon! Alright Nintendo, give me a proper Donkey Kong games timeline right freaking now! Remember those crazy difficult minecart levels from Donkey Kong Country? Well, guess what? There's a bonus stage that's a reference to these ones. It features the classic music, the classic 2D action, and well, it's kinda hard. Man, I love those nostalgia blasts. Throughout your adventures, you'll often meet the old geezer Cranky Kong, and when you talk to him, he's gonna start rambling about how kids nowadays can't do anything right, and how back in his days he was better than everyone, and blah blah blah. He makes subtle hints at classic DK games and older adventures, which is actually pretty funny. If you stay idle for a couple seconds, Pauline will mess around with DK. She's gonna tickle him or just play with his fur, or sometimes DK will just look around waiting for something to happen. These two are just vibing together. I love their friendship. Donkey Kong Bonanza was very well received by critics and gamers alike. Heck, IGN gave the game a perfect score of 10 out of 10, which doesn't happen too often. The game is currently sitting at a Metacritic score of 90%, which is more than awesome. DK is back, baby! Donkey Kong Bonanza is a phenomenal game, and while it's still too early to say if it's going to be a commercial success, I can tell you that I want to see more of it. Thankfully, I'm not the only one. Kenta Motokura, the producer of the game, hopes that the DK series will now have two separate branches like Mario, a 2D and a 3D one. Hopefully that means more Donkey Kong in the near future. Well, there you go. I hope you learned something new today. And my bananas, they're still not ready, so I'm not gonna be eating them for the outro either. But what you can do is click here to see more videos. They're pretty good, I promise. Alright, bye bye!